Hello everybody, this is BeastCat100 and welcome back to some more Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, the Forgotten Turnabout. In the previous episode we had investigated the crime scene, found a couple of strange things including Kay's memento, promise notebook, from her childhood, and we met Von Karma once again, who we were under... we are assisting investigate. In this episode, let's further that investigation, shall we? If you like what you see, leave a like down below, comment if you have anything to say, subscribe to me if you haven't already, and share with your friends so they can join in on this investigation. Okay, sorry. I had a sub earlier and it's not agreeing with me. So the victim's identity remains unknown. Should you really be still calling me Kay? Thank you, but then what about that woman? She is someone who you may have killed. That's all we know. There's no way that's true. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? I also do not believe you killed her. You're such a naive man, Miles Edgeworth. Here he comes, here I come to save the day. Unless, if that's who I think it is, that voice. So don't be afraid, the best prosecutor is here today. Pardon the interruption. Mr. Edgeworth, get away from the victim. I have inherited her dying wish. No one asked for you. Did you know the victim? Just as I thought. The goddess of law will surely reveal the truth to us. So please rest in peace. That's right, Justine. Now while I'm here, everyone will be okay. Excuse me, A-okay. The culprit will rue the day my Miles Edgeworth, who is this fool of a man? Why is she glaring at me? You are Franziska von Karma, am I correct? I apologize for my late introduction. I am Justine Courtney. Oh, good. And the deceased individual is... Attorney Jill Crane, one of the members of the Prosecutorial Investigation Committee. I see. So that's why she has the key card. I take it you're in charge of this case? That's right, and with me in charge, the case is going to solve... Ow! That reminds me, I haven't caught your name yet. If you just wanted to know my name, you didn't have to whip... Just state your name. I will not tolerate any unnecessary remarks. Sebastian de Best. It seems the pecking order has been decided. Mr. Sebastian de Best, here's this from Granny. This is the autopsy report. Seems you've been bested, Mr. Edgeworth. This wasn't a competition to begin with. My job is done. Maybe we meet again in front of another corpse. Okay, let's go home quickly and eat some noodles. I'll be leaving too. Take care, everyone. Goodbye, Karen and Granny. The victim's head wound was post-mortem. Sebastian. And the candelabra dealt the fatal blow. Estimated time of death is late last night. Oh, what is it, Justine? While I do appreciate your enthusiasm, perhaps you should give your tongue a rest. You might have pulled a muscle. That would be painful indeed. Anyways, it's quite clear now. Kay Faraday must be arrested. What? What's the big idea, pal? It's just as he says, Detective. The culprit is Miss Kay Faraday, the young lady in bandages over there, although she's not wearing her usual attire. Are you not Miss Kay Faraday? And what would you do if she is Kay? If you're going to arrest her, then I will resist by any means necessary. That I guarantee you. I am now convinced. The doubts surrounding your suitability as a prosecutor were indeed warranted. It's fine, Mr. Edgeworth. You can go. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. What are you saying, Kay? You can't just go along with them, pal. But I don't remember anything. What if I really did kill that woman, and then forgot about it? If that's true... Acknowledgement is the goddess's mercy. Atonement is her will. The goddess of law will surely praise you for your prudence. Sebastian, and Judge Courtney, if you believe she is the culprit, on what basis do you make your accusations? Unless I'm completely convinced by your explanation, I will not obey your orders. Fine, have it your way. Now sit tight and listen to the perfect reasoning of the best. Here we go again. Time to have to decode what he's saying. I am the best in the world. No one else can do what I do. Yes, that's why I was the first to realize that Kay Faraday is the culprit. She broke into the meeting room in order to steal something. In other words, she's the only one who could have killed Miss Crane. His logic's as awful as ever, pal. Harsh words coming from you, detective. I asked for some basis to your claims, yet your reasoning has told me absolutely nothing. However, we have no evidence to prove she didn't do it either. Don't worry, Kay. I'm sure Mr. Edgeworth will pull off a miracle. You think my deductions are some kind of miracle? You better not disappoint me. Understand, Miles Edgeworth? Because if you do, this Whipple of mine won't stay silent. Like, I understand having to reason out logic, but then they add this dumb fucking, and the logic is not even reason. Jesus Christ. Fine. Already, I've noticed 2 contradictions in your testimony. My reasoning is flawless. It doesn't contain even a single contradiction. The number of contradictions has just increased to 3. Oh, I get it. This is all part of your plan to mislead me, isn't it? Well, too bad, because the best will not be led astray. Yes, that's why I was the first to realize that Kay Faraday is the culprit. Hold it! If you believe Kay is the culprit, then I would like to hear the basis for your reasoning. Just sit back and be in awe of my brilliant deductions. Nothing escapes the watchful eyes of the best. Before I had even laid my eyes on the crime scene. No, before I was even aware of this case. Yes, I knew that she was the culprit. Basis of your reasoning. Yes, ma'am. Well... She broke into the meeting room in order to steal something. Hold it! To steal something? Steal what, exactly? That's... What Kay Faraday tried to steal was a file. Its contents, to be exact, an investigation report regarding Prosecutor Edgeworth. Do you have any evidence to prove she needed something like that? I'm not the one who needs to present evidence. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Edgeworth? Yes, I suppose that may be true. What? At any rate, Sebastian, please continue your reasoning. In other words, she's the only one who could have killed Miss Crane. Hold it! Do you have any evidence to prove that no one else but Kay could have committed the crime? Nope. Sebastian, let me tell you what would be the best thing for you to do. Look into any other possible suspects besides Kay, right now, post-haste. The best thing for me to do, look into any other possible suspects. According to the preliminary reports, there were no traces of anyone else besides her. Even so, isn't it too premature for her to declare that she's the culprit? Declaring that she isn't so so early is into the investigation is not is a little premature as well, is it not? But if only I had evidence that could prove Kay's innocence. Good grief. There's a limit to how much you can falsely accuse someone. It's fine, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't have to. Fear not, Kay. The truth will be revealed soon enough. Mr. Edgeworth, Kay couldn't have murdered Miss Crane. If I can just prove that, she will be cleared of suspicion. I'm the best in them. Objection! It certainly sounds like you are quite familiar with this room. The best man for the job should know all about the best places. Unfortunately, it seems that you are not the best man for the job. Are you mocking me? Maybe. That's for you to decide. You didn't even know about this key card, did you? Of course I know about that. You needed to enter the room. Wait. Was it really needed? This foolish fool simply doesn't know when to give up. No! Sebastian, do you really suspect Kay? That's right. She's the only one who could have done it. Well then, allow me to ask you. Since this room can only be entered by using a key card, how did she enter the room without one? Well, she probably used this and that and... Oh, did you pull a muscle? Allow me to explain then. This door could only be opened by members of the PIC, which means... Yes, that's correct. She conceded so easily. Take a look at this, and it's a record of this room I investigated a while ago. At 12:52 a.m., the door was open using Miss Crane's keycard. It's probable that the killer entered the room together with the victim, Miss Crane. After entering, the situation must have soured, leading to the murder. Your logic holds, but is still merely conjecture, and it would imply that the killer and the victim were acquainted. No way, pal! Kay doesn't even know the victim! This is merely an assumption on your part, unless you have any evidence to prove your claim. Evidence is everything, and courts end at the crime scene. Without it, your argument is invalid. In that case, I trust that you have evidence to prove that Kay Faraday and the victim were connected. Of course. What? This letter was discovered by Dr. Young in Miss Crane's breast pocket. The victim's belongings. Why did she withhold such vital evidence until now? Could it be she was waiting for the perfect time to reveal it? Come to think of it. And the candelabra dealt with the fatal blow. Estimated time of death is late last night. What is it, Justine? Well, I do... Once again, it's a flashback. Thank you. I'll read it to you. To Miss Crane. Thank you so much for helping with my plan. I'm glad we can help each other get what we want. It's like killing two birds with one stone. Please get revenge for 12 years ago. Kay. In other words, Kay Faraday and Miss Crane were accomplices. They probably planned to steal something from this room. Preposterous! But wait, that means the main culprit is... It's still Kay Faraday, of course. Shit! It's like the game is lagging behind. This is the second time I've done that. I'm the main culprit? Don't believe it, Kay. It's a whole bunch of nonsense. There's no way Kay would do something like that. Nonsense. Not at all. The evidence speaks for itself. Wouldn't you agree? I knew that they wouldn't suspect Kay unless they had some sort of proof, but to think that they would actually have such decisive evidence. Nicely done, Justine. Thank you very much. Your explanation is still insufficient. I cannot accept such an argument. Sebastian, would you please leave this to me? Alright, make sure you shut Mr. Edgeworth up once and for all. Can't allow the allegations to gain any more momentum. I must turn it around here. The relationship between Kay Faraday and Miss Crane is as documented in the letter. She wrote to Miss Crane into assisting her with her plan. However, for some reason, the partnership broke down. Miss Crane was murdered, but with her dying breath she managed to retaliate. Her parting gift is this letter, which she tucked safely away in her left breast pocket. Her testimony's even better than ever. Maybe the most perfect it's ever been, sir. Are you going to be alright, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, of course. How unsightly, Miles Edgeworth. Save your stoic act for some other time. Miss Von Karma, just whose side are you on? I'm on nobody's side, Scruffy. When searching for the truth, it's best not to take sides. Well, watch what you say, Miss Von Karma, or else Mr. Best is gonna... Best, you say? Well, I can tell that... How irritating. Well, I suppose that's one thing we can agree on. Shit. The relationship between Kay Faraday and Miss Crane is as documented in the letter. Hold it! What kind of relationship did Kay have with the victim? In the letter she wrote, "Thank you so much for helping with my plan." The relationship should be quite obvious. That's right. She wrote Miss Crane into assisting her with her plan. Hold it! I would like to hear about Kay's alleged plan in more detail. Just as she wrote in the letter, she wanted to steal something. What's more, the sender of the letter is Kay Faraday, so it's obvious who the main culprit is. That letter could have easily been forged. It doesn't prove that she's planning to steal anything. If memory serves me right, wasn't she a great thief? But that's... She's, taking a break at the moment. I doubt there's any thief who would inform a prosecutor about their upcoming crimes. Perhaps she simply returned to her trade without you knowing. I suppose I have no means of denying that possibility. Kay Faraday planned the theft and Miss Crane got caught up in it. However, for some reason, the partnership broke down. Hold it! For some reason, you say? Shit! Shit! I'm sure the reason will become more clear upon further investigation, but more importantly, there is no evidence to prove that Kay Faraday did not commit this crime. While there is some evidence to suggest that she committed a crime, none of it can truly be called decisive evidence. What about the letter that shows the complicity in the scene of the crime? I think it's fair to say we cannot decisively rule out the possibility that she committed the crime. Miss Crane was murdered, but with her dying breath she managed to retaliate. Hold it! Did you have any evidence to prove that Kay was the murderer? Have you been listening? We've been saying that this letter is the evidence. Oh, and where in the letter does it say that she planned to murder the victim? Well, that's... I've got it. It's a hidden message written in invisible ink that only can be read by heating it up. Sebastian, I wouldn't get your hopes up for something like that. There is, of course, evidence that points to her as the criminal. Her parting gift is this letter, which she tucked safely away in her left breast pocket. Can I take a look at that letter? Hold it! We searched the victim's left breast pocket as well, but you found nothing, I presume? Naturally, the officer who found the letter immediately brought it to the best man on the scene. The letter was safely tucked away in her left breast pocket, right above her heart. I believe this letter carries Miss Crane's will for the criminal to be arrested. I have no interest in your beliefs. What I'm interested in is the truth. You said that the letter was in the left breast pocket of the victim, correct? I swear upon the goddess of law there are no lies or mistakes in my statement. The letter was indeed discovered inside the victim's left breast pocket. The victim had been stabbed in the left chest area where the letter was hidden. This may well be a very important clue. I don't think the K wrote the letter, but unless I can draw out more information here, that means nothing. Start by pressing her for more details. Oh, come on already! Shit. So stab him, left checks. Okay, fine. It was the same idea. Objection! The victim held on to the truth until her dying breath. A truly touching story indeed. The voices of the dead are soft. One must listen carefully to hear their dying wishes. And Miss Crane has spoken. Kay Faraday is the culprit. Perhaps the voices you've been hearing are actually the whispers of the devil. Hey, don't make fun of Justine. Let's listen to the voice of reason. Judge Courtney, please take a look at the autopsy report. There is no need. I remember it perfectly. The victim was stabbed in the left breast. No, it can't be. The letter was found in the victim's left breast pocket. And that's where the victim was stabbed with the candelabra, right, sir? Precisely. It wouldn't have been possible to stab her there without piercing the letter as well. So, that begs the question. Why was the letter found in the victim's pocket? It's simple. It was placed there after the victim was murdered to throw suspicion onto Kay. Somebody intentionally wanted to create this very situation. In other words, there exists the possibility that the letter was forged by the true culprit. The real murderer tried to pin the crime on Kay. That is the only explanation for the letter. And in doing so, the murderer ended up digging their own grave, right, sir? The culprit is Kay Faraday. The letter was... yeah, it was actually found in the victim's other pocket. Huh? What are you saying, pal? The officer's report was wrong when he said the letter was in her left pocket. It's actually in the... A foolish fool who continues to make a fool of himself. It's a no cure for your foolishness. Why do you keep whipping me? And quit calling me a fool. I saved you the trouble of punishing him yourself. Indeed, though I had no intention of punishing him. The letter is stained with blood. There's no doubt because it was found in the left breast pocket. There could have only been an error in the There couldn't have been an error in the officer's report, unless you were the investigator. Say something, Justine. I see you have no objections. Then allow me to continue. There's one more potential suspect in this case. Don't be ridiculous. The killer entered this very room. There wasn't anyone else who did that besides Kay Faraday and the victim. To enter the meeting room, one needs a keycard. And the reasoning assumes the murderer and the victim entered the room together. This is what we overlooked. If we just discard that assumption, then... This evidence reveals the other suspect besides Kay. The keycard record, because if you look closely, there is a blank spot in where another keycard was used. Take that! This is the keycard record. Ah, damn it. This is the keycard record Judge Courtney handed me earlier. The victim's keycard was used at 12:52 a.m. and there was one more person who also used the keycard. So you're saying this person was waiting to ambush the victim inside the meeting room? The keycard was used at 10:15 p.m. I wouldn't say it's impossible. No, it's impossible. What makes you say that, pal? Got any proof? Of course I do. I myself am that proof. I was the one who used that keycard after all. Is there something strange about a PIC member entering the PIC meeting room? I will say, even though this is a very tense situation and the PIC is just a really tense idea in general, the theme music for Justine is fantastic. Okay, so that was written in. That proves nothing. The fact that you were in here makes you a suspect. Or do you perhaps have any evidence that you didn't kill your colleague? Such nonsense. What would I gain by murdering her? Allow me to reiterate what you said earlier. I'm sure it will all become clear upon further investigation. Why would I, a faithful servant of the law, commit a crime? True enough, I entered this room. However, that alone is not reason enough to suspect me of a crime. If that's the case, please tell me why you entered this room. I had some business to take care of, and some preparations to be made. Preparations? That sounds pretty suspicious, pal. Unfortunately, I cannot disclose what these preparations were. However, I'm sure you could hazard a guess, Prosecutor Edgeworth. So she was preparing for my hearing. She must have gathered all the necessary materials to take away my prosecutor's badge. Wonderful, wonderful! It's good to see young people go head-to-head so ruthlessly. I do remember who this is. Do we have time to reveal him? Yeah, because I want to get the voice in my head. Who's that? That takes me back when I was young. When I was young, I always butt heads with brash detective. And then, one day, he just disappeared. I hope he's still doing well. Here comes the waterworks. Chairman de Best. Did she just say de Best? Hello, Courtney. You sure are full of energy today. And if it isn't little Von Karma, look how much you've grown since I last saw you. Sir, it's been quite a while. Curtsy, you don't have to treat me like some sort of stranger, you know? Remember back in the old days when you'd sit on my lap and call me Unky Boo Boo? Yeah, go again. Back then. Pops, what are you doing here? I remember PIC was killed and I heard that you were in charge of the case. What kind of prosecutor is followed around by his own father? Hold your tongue. Do you have any idea who this man is? Chairman of the PIC, former chief prosecutor. He's the right hand. Wait, he was a former chief prosecutor? He's the right hand of the goddess of law. Now, Courtney. I'm just an old chunk of coal. There's no reason to speak so highly of me. Please excuse my subordinate's behavior. I am Prosecutor Edgeworth, isn't it? Along with his trusty sidekick, Dick Scumshoe. I am Blaze de Best. I am the proud father of that idiot over there. When that boy was born, me and the missus were happy as could be, you see? But now, I don't even know where she's gone to. Pops, you need a handkerchief? Yes, Sebastian is an idiot, but he's sure a good boy, you know? Quite the doting father and son. Now then, Courtney, how's the investigation going? Sir, we've established that the culprit is Kay Faraday. We are currently focusing our efforts. There are too many uncertainties in this case. It's impossible to determine to say that she's the culprit. Surely you haven't forgotten the matter of the letter. I already told you it was just a simple mistake. The letter was in another pocket. You talk too much. Now, let's all play nice. Everyone just calm down. I'm sorry that you had to witness such an unsightly scene, Mr. Chairman. Don't apologize, Courtney. I can follow everyone's logic. Except Sebastian's, that is. Hey, Pops. Chairman de Best, I am a prosecutor. My duty is to bring criminals to justice. I've heard about you and your relationship with the suspect, you know. To share such a strong bond. Kay has assisted the police in arresting criminals countless times, pal. There are too many facets of this case that remain unexplored. I see. The bonds of youth are a wonderful thing indeed. But that is that, and this is this, you know? What's that supposed to mean? The prosecutor's office needs to resolve this case as quickly as possible. I mean, just to think of all the other cases starting to pile up. There's no time to waste here. It's unfortunate, but you understand, right? Edgeworth? What? Now then, Kay Faraday, I'd like to arrest you now. Okay. No, I won't let you. Kay's innocent, pal. To defy Chairman DeBest is to defy the law. It would be a grave act of disloyalty. In other words, a hearing would be necessary. Are you prepared to lose your prosecutor's badge? That's Mr. Edgeworth's badge. You can't do that. Using a prosecutor's badge as a shield. What has the PIC come to? Kay, you haven't done anything wrong. Mr. Edgeworth, it was only for a short time, but thank you for everything. I'm sorry, I turned out to be a criminal. We will need to make sure to impart your confession to the goddess of law. What should I do? When I was young, I wanted to become a defense attorney like my father. Someone who can fight to save those in need. And right now, this badge is holding me back. A mere badge for the life of a dear friend. I don't even have to consider it. Alright. Farewell, Mr. Edgeworth. Hold it right there, Judge Courtney! What is it now, Prosecutor Edgeworth? This is your prosecutor's badge. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what is the meaning of this? Consider this my resignation. I am no longer a prosecutor. Mr. Edgeworth. What are you doing? Explain yourself, Miles Edgeworth. You can't be serious. Mr. Edgeworth, you're joking, right? If you want a prosecutor, then my only mission is to bring the truth to light. If it's the prosecutor's path to turn a blind eye to the truth, then that title is worth nothing to me. I will walk in the path that I believe in. I will not be stopped here. You're running away from the Von Karma from me? No matter what you say, I don't intend to go back on my decision. So you're leaving me behind again? I'll never forgive you for this. No, this is all my fault. I'm sorry, if only I weren't here. Wait, Kay! Detective Gumshoe, don't follow me. But Miss Edgeworth, boss. I'm not your boss anymore, Detective. That's just too much, sir. It's always been you and me. We've always been a team. Detective Gumshoe, you no longer need to follow my lead. You should try to accomplish what you can on your end. This is bad. We just let a dangerous criminal escape. How could I let her get away? After all my hard work, you see. Rest assured, Mr. Chairman. This area will be locked down immediately. Good. I expect the best from you, Courtney. Getting all sorts of mixed feelings. Even though I knew this was going to happen, it still doesn't stop. Even Courtney seems to be having mixed feelings about this. She was all, I'm going to report you to the PIC, and yet now that Edgeworth has taken the initiative himself, it seems that she's having some other thoughts. Unfortunately, we have to end it off here. So, in the next episode of Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations 2, we are going to, Miles Edgeworth AA2 and the investigations to the Forgotten Turnabout. We are going to catch Kay and see what happens next. See you guys later.